Hey guys, so a couple things I wanted to mention about the video. Number one, it sucks. As soon as you make a video, everything goes blank. Let me just bear with me. She's talking about. All right, there's one thing I learned through my research of anxiety, and definitely phobias. Maybe to a certain extent, panic disorders. Is this idea that okay, two things I want to mention. So I got them both in my head. So this idea of, this is something I learned about anxiety. Most people have anxiety, like a level that's, has a significant level of impairment where you're not going to work, or you're not going to school, or you're not going out. What actually happens is, at a certain point in your life, at least that's what I've noticed for at least, like I can name 3 or 4 case studies offhand, where basically there was a traumatic event that happened. That traumatic event then was allowed to not be processed correctly. It was allowed to actually, you froze, or you fought, or you left, you flight, right? And you didn't really allow yourself to be like, oh, yeah, this is not that scary after all. Rather, you said this is the most scary thing in the world. And the only problem with that is your brain actually believed you, right? Your brain said, yeah, that's true. It was scary. Heartbeat, high blood pressure, stomach pains. Yeah, this is fear. Yeah. And we never actually give ourselves a chance to be like, well, was I actually was I actually scared? Or was it more of just like, whoa, too much too suddenly? And, just slow down a second. Let me just, like, what was that? Was it like 50 bees in my face? You know what I mean? And since we don't do that, we need to be able to do that with graduated exposure, by giving ourselves time to create a hierarchy of exposures that are safe. Obviously, we need to be safe. And like, for example, first looking at a bee, picture of a bee. Look at a bee video on YouTube. You know what I mean? And then slowly walk into a park. That's how we kind of deal with how we got the way we are. Second thing I want to say, I don't know, was exposures. And how, right? Like, there's a traumatic event. Obviously, I've seen that. And second thing is she was talking about. Let's go back and look, because I remember there's something else I wanted to talk about. It's an open. Thank you. She's talking about some medication. Let's watch the video again real quick. It's only like 7 minutes, so I'll pick a random part and see if she was talking about it.
Silent reflux is called silent reflux because sometimes it's completely symptomless, and you start to notice things like you might feel the sensation of having a postnasal drip, choking, or feeling like there's something lodged in your windpipe is a really common symptom. And because this has been going on for a month, and despite being treated, the psychological effects of this have led to something called an associated choking anxiety. So what happens
So let me guess, I can't remember the second thing I wanted to say. Okay, I can just say the first thing, which was, there was a degree of trauma. I've seen it's like a thematic thread that's through everyone that has anxiety. There's a trauma that kind of, we weren't allowed to process, that allows us to, unfortunately, learn these behaviors of fear. Well, you know what? I'm not going to give up. Nah, forget it. It is important, and I'm sure we'll get to it one day. If it's not coming to me now, I'm not going to obsess about it, It's important, at the same time, if it's not in my head, there's nothing I can do about it. Alright, so, I'm in my car now. We can have more of a discussion, like, about just overall how my life's going. I think it'll be better. I mean, I'm still talking about choking phobia and anxiety. I definitely want to read an excerpt of that book I have. First, though, I want to kind of a little talk about just how I'm doing. So yeah, as I think you guys are well aware, traumas allow anxiety to kind of take root. Because when you're going through a trauma, you're not really, well equipped to deal with the feelings you're having. And of course, feelings are connected. So if you're sad, it's gonna affect your work. It's gonna affect, other feelings. You'll feel less happy. Because feelings are related, right? Like the people you hang out with, your life are related. Like they affect your mental health. That's why I continue to make these videos every day, even if they're at a very low level of anxiety, because I want to trace what triggers me, what causes me to have high levels of anxiety. Right? Is it a fight with someone close to me? Is it, the fact that I just can't deal with, all the problems I'm having in my life, money problems or problems of lack of care for psychology, or just the problems of humanity, like war and stuff. You tend to overthink a lot with anxiety, so it's hard to say, why you have 0 sometimes, 15 sometimes. I think the best way is just document it and trace why, right? Write down, well, you have 0 because you've had a stress-free day. And you had like a 5, a couple weeks ago because you had a fight with your father. And maybe you'll come out with some sort of type of, mechanism to deal with the stress. And most importantly, kind of realize, oh, even though I have a 0, it's okay. You can still do my exposure. Just because you don't have anxiety doesn't mean you still shouldn't kind of like be on guard for anxiety to strike. That's kind of anxiety started when you weren't on guard all the time. You're just kind of like, oh, this is just how it's supposed to go. I'm supposed to feel sad. She mentioned trauma. She mentioned her traumatic experience. The second thing I wanted to say. So the second thing I want to say, and this is very important, is to create a calm place within yourself. This is very hard to do, and it's actually one of the most important steps in exposure therapy. And I apologize for not talking about it sooner. I rely on it a lot. I mean, I was first told about it by a psychologist. He was my primary therapist. I told him about my problems, and one of the things he said was, you need to focus on creating a calm place. That means first you need to practice deep breathing exercises. You need to learn how to breathe and be mindful of your breathing. Take deep breaths. Allow the air to fully get into all your chest area, especially if you have an anxiety disorder or choking phobia. Just get the air in there. Allow yourself to feel in control. I ran down the symptoms. She was talking about sinus infections, coughing a lot. All these different things are all because of the choking phobia, because you have a hypersensitivity to your throat, your nose, your mouth, your entire body, basically. And only by, having deep breathing exercises and coming up with how do I explain this the best to you guys? Coming up with images that you can rely on, that you can pull up during stressful situations that are related to you being mindful. It only comes by doing exposure. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. Like, you need to be calm to do an exposure, and calmness will only result from exposures. Right? So it's like a catch-22. You need to be calm to do an exposure, and you only be calm by doing exposures. So then the problem becomes how to become calm before doing exposure. Deep breathing exercises is very important. Just deeply breathe through your nose, as long as it takes. If it takes 45 minutes, it takes 45 minutes. Nothing to be ashamed about. And allow it to just go down your throat, relax your body. There's other things you can do, like getting up and stretching your hands and your feet, as well as your jaw, and give it a nice relaxation. Also here, you want to keep this kind of relaxed. My mom says, never do this, it's bad for you. And I also heard, like, you're supposed to kind of just relax, just allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. I gotta get this nose hair out. Oh! Wow, I'm so sorry about that. Jesus Christ. So how do you come up with a calm space? How do you come up with a calm place? You think about, for example, people who are close to you that you hang out with that are like your supports. They could be your roommates, they could be your boyfriend or girlfriend, they could be your parents. And what you want to do is think back to the happier moments you had with them. Think back to, for example, your parents. What did they do for you when the last time you were happy with them? Or your roommates, when the last time you guys had a party and you were really social? Right? Or even in childhood, times when you're happy in childhood, try to imagine those. If, for example, you didn't have a good childhood and you didn't have a good, adulthood, and you've always been trauma, it's always been bad, make up memories. I'm not kidding. My psychologist said make up memories. He's saying if you're having trouble working on your calm place, and it takes a while, it takes at least a month to come up with a sort of calm place that you're comfortable with. If you're having trouble coming up with one, make one up. Think of a beach, very relaxing, sun, sand on your body. Or mountains. You like mountains, right? The coldness and the fresh, crisp mountain air and the pine trees and everything. You come up with your own, your individual calm place. If you don't have one, make one up. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And this is secret between me and you guys. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. You kind of make up your calm place, and you also kind of have a bit of a calm place that you kind of, you kind of like had a good life in the back, and when you were, younger, so you kind of make it up, and you also kind of, most people at least have some sense of a good childhood. So that's basically what you want to do. Very good, very, 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 very recommended. This calm place idea, and it comes with time. It's not going to be done overnight. It took me many, many months of trial and error to come up with the calm place. It really did, guys. It's not hard. It's very hard. You got to believe in yourself. You got to, surround yourself with positivity. I recommend Les Brown. On YouTube, he talks a lot about positivity and how you are responsible for your own decisions. And it's, you're going to make it. That's very important. I believe it has a physical substance. Positivity has a physical substance whereby it can change you. If you don't feel positive, you won't do certain things that if you felt positive with. So it's a physical change that will happen simply by listening to someone being positive. Because we're surrounded by so much negativity, I believe. We really are. We're surrounded by so much negativity that, unfortunately, this is what we're the world we live in. Unfortunately. So I wanted to read from that book I got. I don't want to, though. I'm just not feeling it. Rather, what I want to do is just sum up again what I want to say, which is number one, most of the time, if you have a phobia, think back to the traumatic incident that happened. There was a traumatic incident that triggered it. If you don't can't find one, you really just think about it. Ask your parents. Mom, do you remember one time? Like, if you have a phobia of flying, ask yourself. If you can't remember a time when you were younger when there was a traumatic event of you flying, ask your mom. Hey, mom, did you ever go on a flight when you were younger? And was there bad turbulence or something? Think. And ask yourself, because I found this is a trend. I found through research that if you have a phobia, most likely it comes from some sort of trauma that happened earlier. This is just how the brain works. I'm not saying it's this is a good or bad. It's just how the brain works. This is how the brain works. The brain gets programmed by traumas, and then we need to unprogram it through these exposures. That's basically what we're doing here. Now, I have an idea for a video. I'm gonna probably make it Saturday or one day. Basically, I want to go back to where I kind of had my first panic attack. Oh yeah. And I want to kind of just be there. I want to just describe what was happening at that time, and I want to just be there. I don't think the video's gonna take no more than 5-10 minutes. It'll be a nice way of just having closure on certain things that are happening in my life at that time. And I mentioned this story many times. I don't want to mention it again. You know my videos and my. If you watch this, most of you guys are familiar with what I'm talking about. I hope. Of what happened in my first panic attack. I didn't go to the mall. My friends were like, "What's wrong with you?" I thought, "What's wrong with me?" And no one really understood what was going on, and I was a bit traumatized by it. And I feel comfortable enough now that I can go there, talk about it in public, and simply just, like, all right, that happened, and see what thoughts and images and feelings come to my mind. This is very important to kind of find closure in what you do, right? It's very important to go back to the site of your trauma. It really is. Go back there and be like, okay, yeah, you're not that strong anymore. I'm not gonna let you bully me around anymore. I'm not gonna let you make me scared of you anymore. And allow yourself to bury your anxiety there. And move on. I'll end it there. Remember, guys, stay with it. With a 0, stay to a 0. I'm very thankful of that. I'm very grateful of that. Remember, guys, stay with it.